Hey everybody, Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick update on my experience with the Sony CyberShot DSC QX100. Now so far I'm liking what the QX100 can do. It really does deliver incredible still and video capability considering that it is just a little wireless lens that will mount onto your smartphone. But I've been getting a lot of questions about whether or not it is compatible with the Note 2. Now, I've commented in a previous video that it isn't. And I say that because even though you can technically cram the Note 2 into the bracket, it is far from ideal and really unusable in my opinion. So I'm going to demonstrate right now what the experience should be like with a Galaxy S3 and what you really don't want it to be like with the Note 2. And I know a lot of you out there have the Note 2, want to pick this up, so that's why I'm demoing this right now. So with a phone like the Galaxy S3 or S4, any other phone that doesn't have the sheer size of the Note 2, basically the first thing you're going to want to make sure is that obviously the brackets from the QX aren't going to interfere with your buttons like your power button or volume rocker. That is first and foremost. Since this is going to be acting as your viewfinder, and if you ever need to get to your phone during the process of using the QX, you don't want to find yourself unable to use the features of your phone. So with that said, again, keeping in mind where our actual buttons are, you're going to go ahead and put your phone towards the direction of that arrow and just apply pressure so that it extends and your phone is mounted. It's really that simple. The same process exactly to get it off. And part of this update is handling. I wanted to talk about that because that is probably one of the biggest things I'm competing with right now. I mean, granted, everyone knew that this was what the look or the design was going to look like once it was mounted to your phone of choice, but I can say that there is a learning curve when it comes to getting used to using this as opposed to a traditional camera because of its weight distribution, form factor. All of those things are completely unnatural, at least for me. And that's in no way a knock against the device. It's just a learning curve like you would have with any photographic tool. In this instance, it's just far from what you would traditionally expect. So I wanted to point that out. But in order to remove it, same exact process. You're going to put pressure towards the direction of that latch right there, and that is it. Now, if we're dealing with something like the Note 2, that's where things get a little bit complicated because remember, there's only so much give in this bracket and you don't want to break it, nor do you want to do damage to your phone. Also, you want the process of mounting the phone, like I just showed all of you, to be easy simply because if it's not as simple as that, then the convenience of this entire process is lost. So, here we go with the Note, and this is just for those of you who really want to know if it's possible, because again, it is, but you're going to see it takes some muscle. Because basically what happens is, we've got it snapped into place. You can already see it's so tight I can't even move it in the rubber brackets, but where things get into trouble are the plastic ends, I'm trying to get them in focus for you, that are at the end of each bracket. They have rubber inserts to pad the phone so the phone, while it's being held, isn't damaged around its frame, but these ends are actually plastic. So now the problem you have is that even though you were able to wedge it in there, to get it out, you really risk the plastic on either of these latches doing damage to your phone because unlike the other phone, the S3 or S4, or you pick whichever model that's within the realistic dimensions of fitting the bracket, I can't move this to actually lift it. And because the rubber ends and true hard plastic begins right here, I would actually do damage to the phone. So the only way to actually remove this now is to actually slide it away from the buttons. And that may seem like a ridiculous task, but it is literally the only way, because even if I try to put pressure to actually have some give while I'm sliding it out of the clasp, I actually am worried that I could do damage to the bracket. You can see the bracket is as extended as it possibly can. It even looks a little bit warped. I'm not going to talk about handling here. Of course, it's even more awkward, or I won't say more awkward, but a different type of awkward. I do prefer having the larger screen, but when you're holding this, and Sony does recommend holding it by the lens, by the way, for those of you trying to figure out the right way to approach it. That's why the buttons for zoom control and shutter release are built on and functional while you're using it. That's a new feature of the QX line that is also now part of the NEX Wi-Fi Smart Remote app that you can control the camera as well as on body as well as through your device. But the point is this has stretched it out to the limit. And the only way I'm getting this off, as I've mentioned over and over again, is literally to slide it away from the buttons, because I don't want to do damage to the smartphone, and I do not want to do damage to the actual QX itself. And this is really literally the only way, and I'm doing it very slowly because there you'll see the snap. I mean, I could have applied pressure, but even applying pressure, the end game here really is that if this is about convenience, if this is about being seamless, and the experience is going to be a pleasurable one, yeah, it's great that we've got the NFC and I can just, touch the contact points and power on and work, but the Note 2 really is far from the phone I would suggest using with this, simply because the brackets don't accommodate it. Again, you can make the argument that they literally do. I just demonstrated that we were able to get it. I'm not sure if I damaged my Note 2 in the process, but there's a good chance you probably will end up damaging your phone because there just isn't enough give on those brackets. And again, you're going to have to slide it out to even get it out, because that plastic part that keeps the phone from actually falling out of the brackets is going to prevent you from actually being able to remove it the traditional way that I just demonstrated with the Galaxy S3. But overall, really like this device. I will be giving a further detailed review soon. Just need to spend more time with it, but wanted to give that update for those of you who are ready to buy it for the Note 2, but wanted to see how it actually mounted, worked, and what usability was like. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. And of course, as usual, please feel free to subscribe. Later.